Solana dumps just before the weekly close, as mentioned in my previous video. So right here we see Solana went all the way to 295 about, and it fell all the way to 251, which is below the levels that I was talking about. I was saying it has to close above 265, ideally, to remain super bullish. Let's check it out. Let's just play the video. Here's my previous video right over here, and let's play it here. And it's going to get a weekly close tomorrow, so this is huge to see if this green candle closes above or below, let's say 265. Right now it's above it. Let's see, it'll have to close above it within the next 24 hours or so. So really interesting. If we look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin's still hanging out 104. All right, so that was the previous video saying, yeah, if we want to keep that bullish momentum, we got to close above that level. Boom, look what happened. And this was potentially smart money. If we zoom in here, this is typically what Wall Street likes to do, smart money. People with the big money, people that move markets, they like to lure in retail and they say, oh, we're going to the moon, and then they dump it. As you see, we went all the way up to that level and dropped all the way back down. So if we go on the daily, we can see more clearly what's happening here. So yeah, we shot all the way up. Everyone was lured in with the Trump coin. Let's take a look at this. Trump coin went from 10 all the way to 79. Wow, that's crazy. It's almost an 8x. And then it fell back down. I'm glad I didn't invest in this. I mean, I was getting text messages from newbies, from people I never hear from. I could even pull up those text messages. People were asking me, should I buy Trump coin? And should I buy Solana? Which typically marks a peak of some sort, either a bull market peak or a local peak. I'm thinking a local peak in this case, because I don't think the bull run's over. But there is always that chance at the same time. It's pretty crazy what's going on here. But look at that, 61% dump. And then for Solana, what's the dump here? What are we looking at? Let me try to get the peak. 22% dump. That's fairly normal for Solana. Let's see. How much was this recent dump back in January? Well, I guess that was only a couple weeks ago. 24% dump there. From this peak, November, we fell like 33%. So nothing too out of the ordinary. However, I mean, this weekly close was pretty brutal. We look at this potential massive selling action here with super high volume. Let's see how high this volume is. So the volume on the weekly, it was pretty high, but it wasn't like the highest we've seen. It's the highest we've seen since November. So that's significant. And we, I mean, if smart money was selling this, that was potentially 14% dump with smart money there, just on that weekly. So, I mean, we could have gotten this new high for Solana. The fact that we got this massive selling action back below the previous high, and we actually closed the week below these previous weekly closes at 252. We closed a little bit lower than that. Well, just a very small amount lower. Back in November, it was 252.8, and now it's 252 flat. So this is not something we want to see for the bulls, if we're getting super bullish on Solana. We'll have to wait for the monthly close to see what could happen on the broader scale, because we want to close this next month. Let's zoom in here. If we close this month for Solana above 237, that could be bullish on the monthly scale. Let's look back at the previous bull run. okay, the monthly close for the previous bull run in 2021 in November was 208. We've already had monthly closes above that, so that's good news. So for the bulls, if we can close this month, you know, before February 1st, above 237, then that'll be relatively bullish. So there's still that opportunity. However, if we close this month below 237, that's not going to be looking good at all, because then that shows this tremendous selling volume all the way from, I mean, look at how high it went. Went all the way to 295, for God's sake. And then if it got sold that hard and then closed below the previous monthly close peak in November, that's just going to show a lot of bearish momentum, which could stall Solana for a couple months, maybe 1 or 2 months or longer. So this is pretty crucial. And I believe this will affect the broader crypto markets potentially as well. I did talk about in the previous video that for XRP, we also got some major, let me clean this up a little bit. We got some major selling action last month with this candle here, where this candle went all the way up to like 291, and then it sold all the way back down to 208. So we also need XRP to have a bullish monthly close. We need to close above 291, and we're starting to get dangerously close to that. So in all transparency, I like to share what I'm doing. I did take some XRP profits, a little bit of Solana profits, just in case, just to make sure I have some cash on hand, like 10%, just in case there is that bearish case. You know, I'm a big believer in hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. And so I always want to have, you know, the question is, how much are you willing to risk in the market? And then how much are you willing to risk outside of the market? Because if the market continues to run up, you know, I want to have like 90% of my money exposed in the market. But if we go down, I want to have at least 10% cash. I should probably honestly have like 20%. So I'll probably set more stop losses if we do get more downwards price momentum, so that hopefully I can have 20% cash to buy back in. There definitely is some looming concerns. If we look at the, let's even go on the daily, and then let's zoom out. If we look at the global liquidity index, as you can see, Solana's been tracking it pretty fairly closely. Let's see if we zoom out. Interesting. Oh, that's interesting. It's interesting how, you know, we did get to this low. You look at the yellow line down to 109. We did hit that 109 early for Solana in August, and then you follow the yellow line up. We were tracing the yellow line pretty closely, but then interesting that Solana fell off. But then Solana got this mega pump a few days ago with the Trump coin mania. And it actually got this yellow, it got up to this peak with this yellow global liquidity line at 295 and then fell off. And the major concern is this global liquidity is falling off all the way until, well, let's zoom. Wow, it goes pretty far out. All the way till like, even, it could go to the end of March. Now, so that's a big concern. Now, the good news is that if you look at every time we get, well, let's go back in history a little bit, because there's a potential that we might not fall as much as we think. As if we go back here, when you see the yellow line falling down, sometimes we don't go as far as the yellow line goes. And typically when the yellow line pumps up, we typically get some pretty good pumps. In this case, Solana is kind of falling when the global liquidity falls. So there is always that chance. There is that chance that we could head down It's tough to say. To the lower 200s or even back into the 100s is certainly possible, especially around March. All right, and that actually lines up very, very well with the astrology. So that's why I have been taking some profits just in case this does happen, because it looks like the broader crypto markets, I mean, look at Bitcoin, is tracking this global liquidity pretty closely. Now, there is clearly Bitcoin's holding up very well compared to the global liquidity, but so maybe perhaps Bitcoin might hold up a little stronger, but who knows? There also could be a mega dump here at some point. And my major concern is that look at this area where global liquidity is getting, you know, this little pump up right now. And that's what we just got on the inauguration day for Trump. But then look at it just kind of fall off a cliff. So I'm actually pretty concerned with further dump here. Perhaps any day now, really. And we're already getting a dump. So I am making sure I have some cash on hand in case we fall further. And I'm going to continue to set stop losses, as that's my strategy. Now, another strategy is just to hold. If you're able to stomach further downside, I think most likely the bull run will continue further. But I'm going to be doing a live group call to my private members in the Crypto Astro Mastermind coming up tomorrow. It's actually about 18 hours from now. I'm going to be going live, and I'm going to be doing a super deep dive analysis with a technical analysis just like this for February and March, as well as the astrology, as that's what I do on this channel, and that's what I do on my private mastermind. The astrology for February and March, because it is very, very, very significant. I'll just say that, and I'll share a little bit more towards the end of the call. We're talking major, major shifts. So let's go back to Solana here. Yeah, I mean, we got this major rejection off that potential new high, and we weren't able to get that strong weekly close. So definitely concerning. Let's see what else we could look at here. All right, look at the Google searches. So this is just Google searches for Solana. Oh, I gotta move my head again. My head's getting in the way. Who's ever in their head too much? All right, we want to get out of our heads and into our intuition here, but let's look at the data here, all jokes aside. Solana peaked out November 21st. Well, actually, I think the price chart peaked up around November 25th, but the Google searches peaked November 21st, a few days before the peak. And it got only up to 46, this 46 level on Google searches. And then really interesting thing that we hit about the same, well, I guess Solana got a little bit higher price. We got up past 270. We got all the way to 295. And we got much higher search volume January 19th, right before the Trump inauguration day, and now we're falling off. So this is huge. This is another concern that we got this huge search volume, but now it's falling off, and the price is also falling off. So we got much higher search volume, but we were not able to close at a higher price, which could be considered bearish divergence, and this could be a local peak. I don't think that's the end of the bull run. Certainly don't think that, but it could be a local peak, and we could. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if things paused out for a couple months. Certainly possible. Am I saying that it's impossible that we're going to continue further upside? No, that's certainly possible as well. I'm just saying, just looking at the data here, things are looking, in my opinion, a little bit more on the bearish side. If you're more bullish, that's totally fine. You have a right to your own opinion and analysis. Here's the daily exchange volume. Oh, I got to move my head again. My head's getting in the way today, guys. So if we look on the right side, we see the daily exchange volume. It is starting to go up, but the huge concern is that we made a lower low here and a lower high. And even if this is the next high, that's still a lower high, so that would still be more bearish divergence. So this needs to shoot up much more. It needs to shoot up past this previous level that we saw in early December to continue much more bullish momentum. So we still haven't gotten past this level here, this peak. We would have to continue past there if we want to get a mega altcoin run, if we want to get another major move up for Bitcoin, all those things. And then coming up at the end of the month, we have the Fed funds rate, which 99% chance right now that they're just going to pause rates, which would not be very bullish for crypto, as crypto seems to have been getting historically pumps when the Fed cuts rates. They're just thinking about pausing it. But a lot of it depends also on what the Fed Chair Powell, Jeremy Powell, is going to say in the meeting as well, as that can pump or dump markets. We could also look a bit at the astrology. I was going to talk a bit about this here. Okay, let's discuss this for the Solana astrology. So some interesting things here is that January 31st, let's look here. Let's go to the 31st. We are getting this Mars square the sun. And the impact of that is it can bring tension and conflict, potential for aggressive moves that could lead to volatility. Short-term price dips could occur. And that lines up fairly well with the global liquidity index, which was heading downwards as well. But then we also get a lot of volatility. So it could be a lot of up and down washing machine, really kind of frustrating up and down price action like we've been getting. We could certainly see more of that, unfortunately. Mars trine the natal moon on February 2nd is more bullish. It's positive emotional energy, can boost confidence and lead to price increases. Good for market sentiment potentially. So we could be getting upward swings by then. And then we get right here, Mars trine Neptune, which could bring enhanced creativity and inspiration, good for innovative projects, may lead to positive speculation. So that's interesting. That could be on the positive side as well. But then, well, let's first go back to this other transit. Neptune conjunct the Solana Mercury. Now, this is not great because Neptune can bring a lot of confusion to investors, and then Mercury is the planet of trading. So the planet of trading on the Solana chart, but then there's a lot of confusion with Neptune there. It's not looking good for February 15th. So that's a big concern there, honestly. And then we also have Saturn conjunct the Solana Neptune. And this is really the energy of a big reality check. Could bring clarity, but also challenges a potential for price correction or stabilization. I mean, overall, that is not looking good. The only good news is we get Saturn trining the Solana moon right after that. This is more supportive energy for emotional stability, can lead to more sustainable price growth and investor confidence. But I'm definitely really concerned about this one in particular. So a lot of caution there. That's just my point of view. I know a lot of the bulls do not want to hear this, but I like to be honest. I like to be honest and transparent and not beat around the bush, not get hopium, not get overly optimistic, but be realistic. All right, guys? Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. That's just my way of doing things. Let me know in the comments below what your strategy is, how you're feeling emotionally with these markets ups and downs. Yeah, what are you guys planning for the market moves in the upcoming months to come? Another quick announcement. So I'm going to be giving a huge update for the Solana chart, the Solana astrology, and Bitcoin and the Bitcoin astrology for February, March, which I believe are the most critical months of 2025 that you won't want to miss. This is happening in 18 hours from now in my private mastermind group, like I mentioned earlier. February, March could literally be the make or break months for your crypto portfolio. I'm just saying that, just based on what I'm seeing. That's my opinion based on what I'm seeing with the astrology especially. If you mess it up, it could mean losing hard-earned money. If you navigate February and March properly, though, you could achieve your wildest crypto goals and dreams, whether that's buying a house, retiring, achieving financial freedom, whatever that means for you. It's different for each one of us. There is only one more spot this month that I'm opening up available by clicking the link below. This is for the Crypto Astro Mastermind, so you can get access to this call tomorrow. Jump on it right now before someone else takes your spot, all right? Because there's only that one spot. And what you can do is you click the link below, you go to the full pay option, you type the coupon code to the moon. This is the most important part. You scroll down to the checkout page all the way to the bottom. There's a little box with a check mark next to it. You type in to the moon. Very simple. Click that check mark, and if it brings the price down, you'll get $500 of savings for lifetime access to this incredible, amazing mastermind. All right, that means you'll get monthly calls with me from here on out where you can ask me your questions on the call. Now, just a quick note that this membership does not include private email support with me. If you have questions, you can send them to me, but I will answer them on the monthly call. All right, and so that's where we can answer your questions within the time frame that we have. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. Let's see if we have any comments. Yes, we do. What is Doge looking like? Wealth transit seems to be moving soon. Trump bought Ethereum yesterday. Interesting. Certainly possible. How to buy crypto. Oh, how to buy crypto on the search terms. Let's see. How to buy crypto. Let's see if it's getting an upswing. Yeah, it did get an upswing on that Trump coin. So a lot of newbies, according to this, a lot of newbies come in because, you know, newbies, people that are new to crypto are the people that searched how to buy crypto, not people that have been here for years and years and years. So a bunch of newbies came in the last couple of days. Now the problem with that is that usually marks market peaks, as we were talking about with Solana here. Potentially a bunch of newbies came into the market with that Trump coin launch, bought it, and then they saw this mega dump. I mean, this is a huge dump. So a lot of people, what do you think these newbies are going to do when they see the price go up 8 times and then it dumps, and they just lost half of those? You know, they were excited at the top, but then it just dumped 60%. So now they're freaking out. A lot of these newbies sell because they weren't expecting it to fall off. They thought they came here all to get rich. They thought we're all going to the moon. Typically, unfortunately, the newbies will sell at a major loss. And then that usually marks a local market peak, unfortunately. And then they're scared, you know, and they might not want to buy back in because it's terrifying. So this happens time and time again, every single bull run cycle, over and over and over, just like clockwork. It's all psychology. These markets are all psychology. People buy when they're greedy. They sell when they're fearful. At least newbies, people that are new to this. So that's a bit concerning that a lot of those people potentially lost a lot of money. Not great for the market sentiment. Awesome consolation in FOMC with possible surprises such as rate cuts or even quantitative easing. Well, if they did talk about rate cuts, yeah, that would be bullish. But so far, it's not looking like there's any indications of that. It is possible, though, but it's, in my opinion, very unlikely. Unless there's some crazy world events, which could happen as well, and then the Fed changes their mind and they start cutting. That would be bullish. Yes, I agree, Feb in mid-March. The lunar eclipse start. Yeah, I mean, there's a lunar eclipse in March, which is very concerning. It's not looking so good. The new moon of February is the 27th. Yep. Oh, interesting. So this coming 1 month is make it or break it. Yeah, I mean, yeah. That's what I'm seeing with the astrology. And then there's new Chinese New Year. XRP to the moon. We'll see. I did take some profits because I'm feeling a little bit cautious. I was a little concerned with XRP because it did. Oh, wow. XRP is moving on the downswing right now. So this is kind of what this is what I'm concerned about with XRP is, look at this selling momentum right here on yesterday. I mean, we went really high up, but then we got rejected. So if I do Fibonacci, you know, we moved past the 50% and we moved past the 0.786 levels. You see right here, this area, and we were ready to break through into a new all-time high, but then it got rejected, and that's not looking so good. But that's only on the daily. We still haven't gotten the weekly close, but that would not be good for the weekly close. So far we're getting a lot of selling action. We do have, you know, another 6 days or so to redeem itself, but I took a little bit off the table just in case we have further downside. That's just me. I'm a little bit slightly cautious. I mean, I'm taking like 10% cash. It's still like I'm still 90% in the market, so not too cautious, but that's what I'm thinking. I mean, just look at all that selling action we got, and we don't see that very, very often. Like, well, we saw it right here back in December 17th, but this was at a lower level than, because this didn't even get up to the previous peak. This one, we almost got to the previous peak here and almost made a new all-time high, but then it sold off hard. All right, so just being honest with you guys, thanks for tuning in, and click the links below for the Crypto Astro Mastermind, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, everybody. Have a great rest of your day or evening.